DreAllDay.com.
Time it gets better than where you are right now is when you tune in tomorrow, because you are tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, yes, there is more. You get a huge dose of personal initiative. That's the go-getter energy that moves me, you, him, her, them, and they to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together in one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show, this masterclass. It is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic: it takes more than skill to be a professional. I don't know if nobody ever told you that before. I don't know if you ever heard it from anybody, maybe from me before, but if you're going to be a professional at what you do, it takes more than just skill. Now, you need skill, but it's going to take more than skill. Now, I've talked about professionalism in several master classes here through this show. Some of them that I'll mention in Masterclass 1398, the top reasons why good basketball players, maybe even good in college, fail to make it as professional athletes. Masterclass 1336, how to play the long game in life like a true professional. Masterclass 1310, how to professionalize your business. Masterclass 1304, why professional sports are not for everyone. Number 1060, why otherwise promising athletes fail to become professional. And one really important one, if you only listen to one of everything I just listed, I don't know why you would only listen to one. You should listen to all of them more than once. But Masterclass 931, what is expected of you when the word professional is next to your name or next to your job title? But what is this definition of professional? The dictionary definition is doing something as one's main paid occupation. Today I'm talking about how to make money from doing a thing consistently as a job or a business. What is it that you're going to need in addition to skill in order to get there? And I'm also going to give you the work on your game definition of professional is being a person who shows up every single day and gets the job done regardless of how you are feeling. That's part of being a professional as well. So it's getting the job done consistently and actually making money from it. That's what makes you a professional. But I'm going to tell you that it takes more than just skill to be able to do those things. There's some other elements that you're going to need, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they are here today. So please listen closely and take notes if you're smart. Point number one, the topic once again is it takes more than skill to be a professional. Number one, you got to be a salesperson. Now, you can have a whole lot of skill at doing something, but if you cannot sell your ability to do that thing, then the people who actually need to benefit from your ability won't be able to get it because you haven't sold them on your ability to do it. Maybe they don't even know that you exist because you can't get your skill out there into the world and into the hands or in front of the eyes of the people who actually need it. So being a professional means you must learn how to sell. You must be good at selling yourself, selling your skill, selling whomever or whatever you need to sell in order to get your skill in front of the right people or for your skill to benefit the right people. You got to be a salesperson. You know, some professionals out there are so good, so good that the opportunity just comes to them. It beats down your door because you're just so damn good or you're so damn lucky or a combination of both. Personally, I cannot speak from that perspective because that has not been my experience in the professional world, whether we're talking in sports or on the business side of things, publishing or anything else that I did. I wasn't so good. I'm good, but I wasn't so good that the opportunity just came and found me. I had to learn how to sell myself and still to this day, still work on getting better at selling myself so I can get whatever it is I'm offering out in front of the right people at the right time so I can get what I need to get and they can get what they need to get. So maybe you have that same experience. I had to learn how to sell myself in order to become a professional in everything that I've done. And maybe you do or you'll have to as well. And understand this is all simply sales. What is sales? It means creating something that is of value, creating or obtaining or having something that's of value, because you don't have to create it from scratch. You can go find somebody else's product and sell that. That thing of value already exists. So you don't have to create it from scratch, but you have something that is of value. Let's just say that, however you got it. Then you share its virtues, and then you get other people to feel the same way that you feel about it. Now you have sales. Any of you who studied sales or read up on sales, you probably heard sales being referred to as a transfer of emotion. All right, that's that third point, getting other people to feel about your product or your service or whatever you're offering, get them to feel the same way that you feel. So if you feel that this set of cutlery is worth $300, and you can get other people to feel like that set of cutlery is worth $300, then you'll be able to sell them that set of cutlery for $300. So that's what sales is. So you obtain something of value, whether it's something you were blessed with at birth, something you developed over time, something that someone else had and they want you to go and get it into the hands of other people. There's something of value that you possess. Then you need to go out and share with other people the virtues of that thing. Hey, let me show you me as a basketball player. Let me show you how I can dribble. Let me show you how high I can jump. Let me show you my resume of what I did in the last places that I was playing at. Let me show you what these people say about me in the places that I played before in my life. That's sharing the virtues. Or let me show you how well these knives can cut up some fruit. Or let me show you how they maintain their value over time. Or let me show you how they were able to resell for 90% of the price that you're going to pay for them up front. So let me share with you the virtues, what makes this product or this service or this good, whatever it is. Let me show you what makes it so great. All right, that's sharing the virtues. And then it's getting other people to feel the same way that you feel. Because how you feel is great, but if other people don't feel the same way that you feel, you're probably not going to make too many sales. So you got to get other people to think about your product or service the same way that you think about your product or service. And when you're able to do that, then you're able to make sales. Now, there are people out there in the world, for those of you who are sales challenged, maybe you are listening to what I'm telling you about sales right here and it's giving you a headache or it's making you nauseous. You're like, I don't know if I'm even ever going to be able to do that, Dre. How am I ever going to become a professional at what I do unless you tell me I got to develop these skills? And you may think you don't have any sales skills whatsoever. You think you're not a salesperson at all. Well, let me tell you that there's hope for you still. Not necessarily because you need to go out and learn how to sell from zero, because that could take some time depending on what the raw material that you're working with right now. There are people out there in the world whose main paid occupation is to be the salesperson, but they're not the one with the skill. So you, the person who has the skill, but maybe you don't think you're much of a salesperson, all you need to do is go find these people who don't have skill, but they have the sales, you do have skill, and you don't have the sales. That's a perfect partnership. All you need to do is go find these people who can sell. There are plenty of people out there in the world. Listen, I was at a sales and marketing conference in early 2020, and this conference was everybody at this conference was either one category or it was basically three categories. You had people who had some skill, who were able to create something, or they had something to put out there, but they weren't that great at sales. Then you had people who are great at sales, but they don't have a thing that they can actually sell. Or you had people who had a combination of both. So all of these people were commingling and interacting, trying to find, all right, the salespeople who didn't have a product were looking for people with a product who couldn't sell. They can partner together and they can make something happen. That's the same thing that you need to do. If you're a person with a whole lot of skill, but you're not much of a salesperson, all you need to do is go find some people who are salespeople who need some products to sell. They will gladly take you on. They'll make money. You'll get to do your thing. You'll get to show your skill. You'll make money. Everybody wins. And the people who get your skill, whatever it is, they win as well. It's a win-win-win situation. Some of these people call themselves agents. Some of them call themselves managers. Some of them just call themselves salespeople. Some of them call themselves entrepreneurs, CEOs. Agents and managers are the type of people who manage the sales side of things for skilled and talented people who may not, either they can't sell themselves, or they just don't want to, or they just don't have the resources to do so. I mean, somebody who is very skilled, very talented at what they do, their skills may be in so high of a demand that they don't have the time to actually do the sales work all the time. Not that they can't sell, it's just that they don't have the time or resources to do it. Or if maybe a person is so much better at delivering their skill, whatever that skill may be, that it makes more sense, just resource wise, it makes more sense for them to invest their time in delivering the skill, because they may be a level 99 at delivering their skill, but they're only a level 87 at selling. So if they can spend all their time doing one thing, what would make the most sense for them to be doing? Probably the thing that they're 97 at, because that's their number one ability. So just because you're not doing all the sales for your organization or your life or your business or whatever you have going on doesn't mean that you can't sell. It just means it makes more sense for you to focus on the thing that you do best. What is that thing that you do best? I'm pausing there to give you a moment to think about it, because you need to know. You need to know every skill that you have, and you need to know the hierarchy of these skills. Meaning, what is the thing that, of all the skills that I have, this is you talking to yourself, of all the skills that I have, which one do I do best? If I had to cut out everything and I can only stick to one skill, what is the one skill that I'm best at? You must know the answer to that question. Then you need to know what's the second best skill. Then the third. I would say don't go any more than, let's just say, your top 5 skills. You might not even have 5. You might have 3. You might only have 1. If you only have 1, you're lucky, because you won't even need to spend a whole lot of time figuring it out. But if you have a lot of skills, you're a multi-skilled individual, then you're going to have to think about this. What are the top 5? What are my top 5 skills? Now that you know what they are, and now you need to list them in order. What's the number 1 skill, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5? In terms of 0 to 100, rank all of them from 0 to 100. Which one has the highest ranking, then second highest, all the way down to 5, right? Right now, when you start out, or when you're starting out, or if you have already started out, or maybe you've been around for a while, if it's just you right now in your organization, and every one of us has an organization, you're the CEO of your own life, even if you don't run a business, you may have to perform all of these skills to get ahead, to get to where you're getting. But as soon as you have the resources and you have the skills to do so, and I explained to you exactly how to delegate in Masterclass, I believe it's 1101, then you need to go find somebody who can take over that. One of those skills is not number 1. Skill number 2, 3, 4, 5. Then find somebody for the next one, and fill out all those skills until the only thing that you're doing, you should eventually only have 2 jobs. Number 1, doing what skill number 1 is, and number 2, overseeing everything else, overseeing the whole operation. You shouldn't be doing skill number 2, 3, and 4 at all at the peak level of running your business, of running your company, your corporation being you incorporated. So if sales is your number 1 skill, then that should be the number 1 thing you're doing. If it's not your number 1 skill, eventually find somebody who is competent enough, good enough to replace you as a salesperson, so you can focus on your skill, whatever that skill may be, or whatever your number 1 thing is. I mean, it's going to be some form of skill, so whatever that happens to be. Now, some people, again, manage their own sales. Sometimes you have a hybrid mix. So some people do a little bit of sales. They got other people who do sales for them as well. If you want to be an influencer, for example, I'm pivoting here. If you want to be an influencer online, you have to sell your followers on your personal importance. Not necessarily your importance to the rest of the world, but your importance to them, which allows you to influence them, right? That's what makes you an influencer, that you can influence people. If they don't believe you're important, or they don't believe what you're saying, then you can't influence them. An author has to sell their readers on whatever they're writing about. A politician has to sell the voters. And this is an ongoing job. Now, if you're going to be an author, you're probably going to write more than 1 book. You got to continually sell your readers on buying your books. Just as they bought the last one doesn't mean they're going to buy the next one. You got to sell them again on buying that next book. If you're a politician, just because you won the last election doesn't mean you're going to win the next election. Now, you may have some built-in people who are going to vote for you again no matter what, but there are some people who are kind of open. You're going to have to resell them, and whoever you're running against, they may have a good campaign. You're going to have to beat them. So you got to continually sell. If you're an influencer, you got to continue to influence people. You can't just influence them once and say, all right, I'm an influencer. All these 50,000 or 2 million people going to follow everything that I say just because they did it that one time. Now, you got to continually do it. This is an ongoing job. So if you don't like selling, you're not going to last too long in any profession. Or either if you don't like selling, or you don't have a person who does like selling, it needs to be someone who loves to sell in your organization. If there's not anyone in your organization who loves to sell, then you are probably right now facing a challenge of not being able to get your skill in front of all the people that it needs to get in front of. But that's something that you can work on. All right? You can work on your game in that area, either by improving your own sales skills or finding some people who already have the sales skills that you lack. But that's something that must be addressed. All right? That's not something you can just ignore and say, well, forget it, I don't care. All right? You must care about that, because if you don't care about your ability to sell, you're never going to be able to get your value out to the world as it needs to be. Point number 2. Today's topic is it takes more than skill to be a professional. Second thing you're going to need is discipline. Discipline is the number 1 most important trait of the whole work on your game philosophy. I tell you every day, the discipline to show up day after day to do the work. Some people hear about being a professional, or they see some depiction of a person being a professional or something, and they only notice one thing. And the one thing that most people notice when they hear about somebody being a professional or something is how much money is that person making? Because a lot of us human beings, especially in the Western world, we have a deep emotional attachment to money. I was just looking on ESPN today, and they were doing a story on people who are like professional dunkers. These people travel around the world doing dunking exhibitions, and they're known as dunkers. They are influencers online because of these dunks that they do. They don't play on a basketball team. They're just an individual person who goes around and does these crazy dunks, and there's this whole story about it. And the main thing that people want to know when they hear a story like that is, how much money do they make? How much money can you make doing it? How much money can you make being a dunker? How much money can you make being a podcast? How much money can you make being an influencer? How much money do you make writing books? That's the main thing that a lot of people want to know. And when they hear about somebody being a professional or something, that's the first thing they're thinking, well, how much money are you making doing that thing? Or the other thing that people are attracted to, especially these days, is the attention. The attention that person garners just because they're a professional at what they do. Oh, you're an influencer, or how many followers do you have? How many likes are you getting each post? Or how many views are you getting each video? Or how many people are on your email list? Or how many emails are you getting every day from people asking you questions? Or let me see what your direct messages look like on your social media platform. The money and attention. These are two things, again, especially in the Western world, that a lot of people are emotionally attached to even when they don't have them. All right, money and attention. But understand that being a professional is about a whole lot more than that. All right, if all you needed to do to be a professional was be hungry for money and attention, there'd be a whole lot more professionals in the world than there are. All right, the thing that people don't understand when they're looking at the money and attention that comes with being a professional, because a lot of professionals do have both, is that a lot of spectators don't understand the work that goes behind the money and the attention. If your only motivation in life is to make money, or your only motivation for your profession is making money, you're not going to last very long. Because at first, there's a couple reasons why. Number one, at first the money is probably not going to equal up to the effort. When you first start out doing the thing that you're doing, the money that you're making will not equal the amount of effort that you're going to be putting in. You may feel, or you may literally at first be working for free. You're doing a whole lot of work, but you're not making any money from it. And you're not getting any attention for it because nobody knows who the hell you are. Are you going to keep working? A lot of people fail at that stage. A lot of people die out right there at that stage of they're doing a whole lot of work, but they're not making any money. And because they have this emotional attachment to money, and they connect so much of their self-worth to how much money they're making, they look and realize, okay, I'm not making any money, so there's no self-worth here, so they stop trying. Even though it was they had great potential in what they were doing, but because they had such a deep emotional attachment to the money and the money wasn't there yet, they didn't stick around, they quit, and who knows where they would have been had they stuck with it. So at first, you're not going to be making the money, you're not going to be getting the attention, and here's the other thing, on the other side of things, even once you become successful and things are popping off and everything's working, here's what's going to happen. The money is going to surpass even what you thought you were going to make. Is going to surpass the work. In other words, you're going to be making more money based on the amount of effort that you're putting in. You're making 10 times more than the effort you're putting in. All right, so at first you're going to be working 10 times harder than your money. Second, and at the end, if you keep going and you really have a skill at what you're doing, you're going to be making 10 times more than the effort that you're putting in. So every 1 unit of effort is going to get you 10 units of money. So what's going to keep you going at that point? I mean, you don't need the money anymore. You're making 10 times your effort level at that point, at the success point, right? Quote unquote success point. Again, the way that we think in the Western world. Now what you going to do? In my book, Work on Your Game, and also in my book, The Mirror Motivation. In Work on Your Game, I did a chapter called The Third Day. And in Mirror Motivation, I talked about this, and I did an episode, I believe it's 907, on the 4th day. Let me make sure I got that right. Yes, masterclass number 907 on the 4th day. And I got a book coming out called The Third Day. I'm telling you that right now. I'm letting it out the bag. I may have already announced it by the time you listen to this class. But understand that once you've made the sale, and while you continue to make the sales, now you got to deliver the goods. You got to keep delivering. All right, so the money wasn't there at first, but you still had to deliver. And then later on, the money will be there in abundance based on your effort. And you still got to make the sales. You still got to deliver the goods that you sold on. And this is also an ongoing job for as long as you have people paying for something from you. You understand? So when you get to the point that 1 unit of effort is getting you 20, 30, 50 units of money, you're getting a 50x return on your effort, understand that you still have to deliver at the same level that you needed to deliver at back when you were a nobody who had no money and no fans and no followers, and you were wondering if it even made sense to stick in this. You still got to bring that same level of effort, that same level of commitment, that same level of discipline, even though you already have everything that you need and more. All right, you're not working out of desperation anymore. You have a surplus of a surplus. Are you still going to be as dedicated? Are you still going to keep showing up early? Are you still going to keep staying late? For most people, the answer is no. Why? Because most people are emotionally attached to the money and the attention that they can get. So when they get the money and attention, especially when they're getting it in abundance, what motivation do they have to keep showing up and working so hard? They got the thing that they were really after, the money and attention. They were not emotionally connected to delivering. They were emotionally connected to getting the money and attention. They already got it, so of course their work's going to slack off. The question is, what's going to happen to you? Your 1,000th customer has the same expectations as you as your second customer had. See, your second customer, you were broke. You weren't sure you would even be staying in the business. So you gave everything you could to that second customer, hoping that you would make it to customer number 3. But now when you're on customer number 97,000, and this is old hat to you, you've been doing this, you're used to this, and you're getting way disproportionate returns based on your effort, are you still giving the same effort? Even though it wouldn't really matter, are you still giving the same effort? If you don't continue to deliver consistently, it will start to matter because you'll start to lose your business. Now, while this seems like an easy proposition from the outside looking in, it's not easy once you're in it. You know, it sounds very simple, right? For those of you who are listening to me right now and you're struggling to build your career or get footing in your profession or get known in the thing that you're doing, and you're working really hard to deliver as well as you can to the people that you deliver to, you're like, man, Dre, if I was making 100 times more money than I'm making right now, man, do you know how much I would be giving to my customers and how great I would be and how much I would over deliver in the things that I'm doing? That's what you're saying right now. But imagine that you did have 100 times what you have right now. Would you still be showing up? Would you even be there? Would you even be at work today? Would you even have shown up? Would you have the same dedication? Would you respond to your customer service messages as quickly if you had 100 times more money than you have right now in your bank account? Again, when you're in the position of not being there, it sounds easy to say, but once you start to have more than you need, where's the dedication then? Whether you're an athlete, a speaker, an author, an Uber driver, a refrigerator repair person, listen, nobody always feels like being at work. Nobody always feels like doing whatever their job is, right? Because we get used to it. And it's not exciting anymore. That's what the whole third day concept is about. What separates the true professionals from those who come and go is finding it in you to show up anyway and deliver anyway, even after the newness has worn off. Even after you have moved past desperation and into you're taking care of your good and maybe even into the position of surplus. What separates the pros from the amateurs, and I'm talking about the work on your game definition of pros and amateurs, not about making money, but whether you show up or not. What separates them is that you have something in you that's bigger than the attention that you're getting and the money that you're making. And a lot of people have never even thought about that. Therefore, when they start to get the money and attention, their work falls off. And eventually so do that. Question is, what's going to happen to you? Point number 3. Today's topic is it takes more than skill to be a professional. Third thing you must learn to do is play the game, aka hustling. Now, I talked about being a hustler in, let me see where I talked about that. I talked about hustle being a choice in masterclass number 794, and I also told you how to hustle without being thirsty in 736. Talked about hustling multiple times, but the last one where I talked about is masterclass 1314, which is hustle, learning to play the game in life. It's understanding that there are elements that go into what you really want to do that you may not be so excited about. So there's a main thing that you want to do, but underneath the umbrella of the main thing that you want to do, there may be a whole bunch of other things that you don't really want to do that you may not be so excited about, but they're part of the game. And if you want to play your game at the highest level, you're going to have to deal with those inconveniences just because they're part of the game. For example, when you're a college athlete, and you just love playing your sport and that's the only thing that you want to do, part of the game is that you got to go to class and you got to maintain a certain grade point average, at least in American universities at the NCAA level, in order to keep playing that sport. You may hate school, but part of the game, part of the hustle is that you got to go to class. All right, that's part of the hustle, and you got to learn how to hustle. You got to know what's required of you in order for you to maximize your opportunity, and you got to actually do it, even when it's something that you're not so excited about. So the college athlete wants to go pro. You hate school, but going to school keeps you eligible to play. All right, so what do you like? Which one matters more? Your hate for school or your love for playing the sport and your desire to play it professionally? Which one matters more? Because if your desire to play pro matters more, then that means you'll deal with the playing the game part of going to class. But if it doesn't matter more, then you'll bullshit about class and blow your whole opportunity because you lack the discipline to understand the hustle. I'm letting that one sink in for a moment. A politician, for example, you think every politician likes traveling from town to town and county to county and state to state, or whatever they're running for, shaking everybody's hands and taking photos? I mean, who knows how much bacteria and germs are on their hands by the end of the day? But doing that gets them what they ultimately want, which is what? Getting elected and being in that position of power. Now, there are some politicians out there who really want to touch the people and help the people and do something for the people that they're going to be serving. Who knows what they really want? I mean, but you understand what I'm saying. They still got to go through the game of shaking hands and talking to these people and talking to those people, and maybe even going to places where they know that people are hostile towards them and they're probably not even going to win most of the votes in that area, but they still got to show up and shake hands and act like they like those people, while those people act like they like them. They got to go through all that to get the ultimate outcome, which is winning that election. Hustling, ladies and gentlemen, can be as simple as learning the game better so that you can better play the game. Such as, for you entrepreneurs out there, for you athletes out there, for you business professionals in any way, shape, or form, investing in your education. You might not like going to a conference. You might not like the act of sitting down for an hour a day and reading a book. You might not like investing in taking an online course. You might not want to put your money, your discretionary income, towards hiring a coach or signing up for a mastermind group. You might not even like doing those things, but you understand logically that those are investments in your education that'll let you be better at the things that you actually do like, right? Learning from the people who've already done what you're aiming to do. Some people are unwilling to make these investments, but understand this is part of the hustle. And if you're not willing to put the time in, or the investments, time, money, attention, energy, focus, into the hustle of learning better to do what you do, then why would you expect to get to a higher level? How could you even reasonably expect to get to a higher level if you're not putting the investments in? I mean, what sense does that even make? Doesn't make any sense to me. Does it make sense? If it makes sense to you, please start a podcast and explain to me, how that makes sense, because I can't see it. And I think about this stuff all the time. So let's recap today's topic, which is, it takes more than skill to be a professional. I'm giving you 3 specific things you need in order to become and maintain your status of being a professional that is bigger than just having skill. Now, the definition of professional in the dictionary is doing something as one's main paid occupation. The work on your game definition in the dictionary of my book, Work on Your Game, is a person who shows up every single day and does the job. Today, I'm talking about the things that you're going to need to continually make money from doing the thing consistently as a job or as a business. Number 1, you got to be a salesperson. All right, some professionals are so good that the opportunity knocks down their door because they're just so talented at what they do, or so lucky, or a combination of both. I'm not that, and I would guess that you're probably not that either. So you're going to have to go out there and learn how to sell. Create something of value or obtain something of value, share its virtues with an audience, and then get other people to feel the same way about it that you feel. That is what makes a sale. Agents and managers are people who manage sales for skilled and talented people. Some people manage their own. Sometimes you have a hybrid. If you're an influencer, for example, you sell your followers. An author sells readers. A politician sells voters. And this is an ongoing thing. Or if you don't want to sell, or you don't have anyone around you who can sell, you will not last long in any profession. Number 2, you need discipline. Some people hear about being a professional and they're attracted to the money and the attention that comes with being a discipline, because that's the only thing that they see. They don't understand the work that goes behind it. If your only motivation is money and attention, the problem is you won't last through the beginning, because you're going to have no money and no attention, but you still got to work hard. And if you're after money and attention and you happen to luckily make it through the beginning, you're not going to make it at the end, because you're going to have more money and more attention that is a disproportionate amount to the amount of work that you're putting in. Now, what's going to drive you to keep showing up? Probably nothing. So understand that the third day, showing up even after the newness has worn off, even after it's no longer exciting and delivering, you only get to that level. And to the 4th day, which I talked about in masterclass number 907, you only get to that level when you have a motivation, a desire that is bigger than the money and attention that come with your professional status. Your 10,000th customer has the same expectations as your second customer had. Are you going to have the same motivations when you're on customer number 10,000 that you had when you were on customer number 2? Probably not. But are you going to have the same discipline? That's the question you got to answer for yourself. I can't answer that one for you. Nobody always feels like being at work. I don't care if you're an author, a speaker, an athlete, an Uber driver, you fix refrigerators. Nobody always feels like being at work. But what separates the true pros from those who come and go is finding it in you to show up anyway and deliver. And point number 3, you got to learn how to play the game. In other words, you got to learn how to hustle. Talked about this in Masterclass 13, 14, learning how to play the game in life. Meaning, doing the things that are required of you that will allow you to maximize your opportunity, even when those things, those requirements are things that you're not so excited about. Like the athlete who's playing ball in college, they gotta go to school. They may not be excited about school, but you gotta go to school. Or the politician who may not be excited about shaking everybody's hand, but you gotta shake the hand so you can win the election. Hustling can be as simple as learning the game better so you can play it better, such as investing in your education or investing in your learning. And a lot of people don't like to do these things, but if you understand it as part of the hustle, and part of what keeps you and makes you a professional, then you shouldn't have a problem doing it. If you still have a problem doing it at that point, all right, maybe you should consider amateurism. Work on your game. Dre, all